Yo, what's happening, people? I'm back with another match review for Arsenal versus Southampton away in the Premier League. Before I get into that game, I've got some news to bring you. I'm sure you all must already know by now, but Arsenal have extended some deals. Obviously, the Premier League contracts were running out at the end of this month, and Arsenal had until Tuesday night to extend who they wanted to extend or released or tell the Premier League who won't be staying past the 30th of June. And so they've decided to keep David Luiz, Mari, Dani Ceballos, and Cedric Suarez. Of course, the big shock from that is David Luiz. I say big shock. Both Arteta and David Luiz are talking about how they both wanted him to stay. So it was an agreement. Both player and manager both wanted to stay. We saw that in David Luiz's post-match interview against Man City. So we know that he definitely wanted to stay, and we know that Arteta's press conference last week, he mentioned that he was trying to get David Luiz to sign a 1-year deal, and that's confirmed. He's not just staying until the end of the season, he's actually now staying until the end of next season. So it's a 1-year deal. Of course, many Arsenal fans, like myself, are not happy about this. The man is costing us points week in, week out. Liverpool, Chelsea, Man City, 3 big games. We needed him to step up, and he let us down. Other small times when he's made a few mistakes across the season, giving away penalties, getting sent off, it's just not good enough. And so I'm surprised that he's staying. It makes me think, are we actually going to sign any defenders going into next season? Or are we just trying to save money due to the whole COVID pandemic? We'll wait to see. But yeah, I for one, I'm not happy about that. I'm hoping that with Mari signing on a 4-year deal, which looks like we signed him from Flamengo, looking about £14 million. I'm hoping that he now becomes our number one left-sided centre-back. Edu has already come out and said, look, Arteta said to me, I want a left-footed centre-back, get me one. And so he went to Flamengo and brought in Mari. Now listen, my thoughts on Mari, is he good enough? I don't know. I still don't know. I said this at the time. I don't know who he is. I saw him play against Liverpool in the World Club Cup. But I don't know who he is. And he's played for Arsenal for, less than 300 minutes before he got injured. So I don't know how good he is. So I can't say he's going to be a massive change in our defence. He looks decent. He's had some good touches. He's left-footed, as I said, which helps a bit, playing on the left side of centre-back. But, time will only tell. But, yeah, I'm hoping maybe next season he'll become a mainstay centre-back. Arsenal already revealed that he's out for 2 to 3 months, so we won't see him again this season. But maybe next season, as I said, he'll be the number one, and maybe David Luiz will be on the bench. Fingers crossed there. We'll see what happens with that. Cedric Suarez, that was a big shock that we signed him on a 4-year deal. 28 turns 29 in August this year. Signs a 4-year deal with Arsenal. Not many players over 30 get a 4-year contract or get given a contract past 30 years old, which is longer than a year. So, Arteta has also mentioned him being one for the future, which is, again, a bit surprising. Does that mean Bellerin's future is in doubt? I think so. It looks like it. I mean, unless he comes in and specifically says, I want to be a backup right back, I think he'd be pushing for first team football. So, Bellerin's future may be in doubt. I mean, he's 28 and Bellerin's 25? I mean, Bellerin's still a better right back for me at the moment, and I think he will be going forward. So, if this is a replacement, it's a downgrade for me. I know his performances haven't been great, but Cedric, he's been okay, and I've watched him in the Premier League. I've never been blown away by him. He's had some good performances for Southampton, but the Southampton fans are telling me they're happy to get rid of him. So they're happy to get rid of him, and we're taking him. It doesn't really look like an upgrade to me. But we'll see what happens with that. And Dani Ceballos is extending his loan until the end of the season. No talk about signing him on a permanent basis or another loan deal for next year as yet, as it looks like he may be heading back to Real Madrid next season. And so in terms of the Southampton game now, big test for Arsenal again. Another away game with no fans. at St Mary's and the South Coast. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. We're coming off the back of 2 defeats since Project Restart. They're coming back off the back of a very, very good 3-0 win against Norwich. So, 2 completely different form guides. And so, it's not looking good for us sort of coming into the game. And we need to step up our form ASAP. We need a reaction from both those games, especially the Brighton game. Losing to Man City is no... you can't really take too much from that. Sometimes they're a much better team, even though we gave away sloppy goals. But Brighton, being 1-0 up with 20 minutes to go, you've got to see that out. Bit of game management in there just wasn't there in that game, and Arsenal need to really, really, really change something ASAP. Adding to that, injuries are mounting up. Bernd Leno, of course, got injured. The good news is that it's not months. With the early signs were 6 months out, but it looks like it's maybe only 6 weeks. So yeah, he'll be out for the rest of the season, but hopefully he'll be back in time for the start of next season. And Martinelli had ran into someone in training and they hit knees, and Martinelli's now out for a period of months as well. So we won't see him again this season. We won't see him until next season. So not looking good at all. Not looking good. So we need our players back fit. I guess one of the good news is that Xhaka is back in training and Socrates is back in training, although none have yet trained with the first team. So unlikely for them to start, but may well be on the bench, especially as our injury list is growing and we may need people to be on. David Luiz still suspended for this game. It was a 2-match ban he was given after the Man City game because his second red card of the season was sent off against Chelsea, and now his red card against Man City means that he will be suspended for both games. So Brighton and now Southampton. So he won't be back until the FA Cup on the weekend. So in terms of the team, of course, I'm going to have to go Martinez in goal. Good opportunity for him now. He's got 8 games, 7, 8 games to try and prove why he is maybe to be given a chance as Arsenal number 1. Looking unlikely with the form of Leno, one of our better players this season. But, you never know. We want to see competition in the squad. It's what it lacks. So I'm hoping he takes his chance, against Southampton this week. Could have done better with a goal against Brighton. I know it's a bit harsh, but he rushed out to Maupay, gave him a better angle to score. So, I wouldn't say it's a goalkeeping error, but, things like that, if we're going to be going to get wins on the table, we need to cut out these sloppy ways to concede goals. The back four isn't. I'm not ruling them out of this as well. They haven't been great. So it needs hard work from everyone. Across the back four, I'm going to go with Hector Bellerin at right back. As I said, his future is up in the air with Cedric signing, but we need better performances from him. It wasn't that great against Brighton or Man City, so I'm hoping that he gets to find a form that he hasn't had for a little while. Cedric, we're hearing that he's back in training. They're looking at the FA Cup as maybe a way he comes back in, if not a game the next Premier League game next week, which I think is Norwich. Yeah, next week. In the centre-back positions, as I said, Socrates back in training, but unlikely to start. So it looks like we'll probably go with Mustafi and Holden again. Another game for them to try and impress. Had a decent game at Brighton, for the majority of the game. But again, lapsing concentration on the corner, lapsing concentration to let Maupay run off him. I think that was Mustafi. And Maupay run off Mustafi to score. Not major mistakes, but things that need to be cut out if we're going to be moving forward in the Premier League and getting the wins. But yeah, it looks like those two will start again at centre-back. And at left-back, I think Tierney will come in. Kolasinac came in against Brighton, but it wasn't massively impressive. So I think Tierney deserves to get his place back into the starting lineup. And then into the midfield, again, Xhaka back in training, but I don't think he'll be fit enough to start as yet. So I'm going to go with Guendouzi, who could have seen retrospective action with his grab of Maupay's throat after the final whistle against Brighton, but got away with it because VAR and the ref didn't spot it and VAR didn't do anything at the time and they saw it. So got away with that. I think he'll come back into the team. I'm probably going to go with Dani Ceballos and Saka. Dani Ceballos didn't have a great game against Brighton, but we know what he's got. He's probably, one of our better midfielders, in terms of the squad. So, he'll probably get another chance to impress. Although, he's not going to be here long term. So, I don't know what Arteta's thinking on. Do you play the best squad now that you have, or do you start looking towards the future, which may mean a start for Willock? But in terms of the future, Saka, he's one that does need to sign a new deal. I think we're coming into his last year now. So we need to really get this guy on a long-term deal. This guy is brilliant. He's been one of our better players since the restart. Brighton, he was brilliant everywhere, working hard, hit the bar in the first half. So he's someone that, I think deserves to start, going forward for Arsenal. Not many players say, I deserve to start. But for me, you can't drop Saka at the moment. You can't drop him. He's undroppable right now. So whether it's left wing, whether it's in the number 10 position or as a third CM, or even at left back, it just looks like he's got to play. Now, he started the last 2 games. He may get rested for this game. But yeah, I think, he should start. And up front, I would have gone with Martinelli. A lot of people saying, why didn't he play against Brighton or City? I would have gone with him to start this game, but he's injured now, so doesn't give us much options. Pepe scored against Brighton with a great goal. Things we know he can do, things we know he can score goals, he can cut in and score goals. So, I hope to see more of that towards the end of the season. That was a bright point with that brilliant goal. But we need more from that. We need a bit more consistency over the 90 minutes as well from him. I'm going to go with Aubameyang on the left because it just seems like that's what Arteta's doing. I'd like to see him go up front. I've always said I'd like to see him go up front. I know statistically he may look good on the left wing, but I just don't think it benefits our team, the balance, him going there. So, maybe a Saka go left wing and maybe a Willock comes into the midfield. But I think Arteta may just go with him on the left and it will be a Nketiah or Lacazette up top. Lacazette didn't really impress against Brighton, so I think Nketiah may get a nod to come back in against Southampton. No one's really fighting for their place. As I said, Saka is probably the only one. Saka and Aubameyang because he's Aubameyang. So, we need to step up and improve badly. We need to improve badly. As I said, Southampton coming in the back of a good 3-0 win. Danny Ings is on fire at the moment. So we need to have our wits about us for this game. They're going to come and they're going to come fast. So we need to be wary. It's not letting them in at the back and not conceding sloppy goals. But having said all that, I didn't realise we've only won 9 games this season. 9 Premier League games we've won. And, we're now 8 games towards the end of the season, 7 games. So it's not good enough. Not good enough at all. And even if you look at Southampton have won more than us. They're in 14th. I think they've won 11 games. They're in 14th in the table. So, we need to step this up. We need to win games. But I think we're struggling to win games. We're drawing a lot. We drew a lot before the lockdown. I know we weren't beaten, but we drew quite a few of those games. And then so, I'm not usually a pessimistic fan when I do these, but I'm realistic, and I genuinely think we're going to be in trouble against Southampton. If I'm being honest, I'd love to see us beat them. We need to beat them, but I don't think we will. So I'm predicting a Southampton win. I think the struggle's going to go on. I've got no real hope that things are going to get better. I've not seen anything to make me think things are going to get better. So I think Southampton will nick it 2-1. And then another wake-up call for Arsenal if that does happen. But, of course, I'm hoping and I want Arsenal to win. And, I hope we get things right on the pitch sooner rather than later. Guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.